Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Shin Kim. I'm teaching Western civilization through this actually semester. Uh, Actually, when you look at the actually this picture, according to the evolution theory, actually human being was maybe born or exist around the left corner side common ancestor around 40 million years ago. Extremely long time ago. It looks like a monkey or a chimpanzee. And a little bit later, Lama Pithecus, and around 14 million years ago. Now it looks like a standing up, okay? And when you maybe study about anthropology when you are in the public school, you may heard of this name, Australopithecus. Austra, Australopithecus, around 5 million years ago. And maybe you may also heard of Homo erectus around half a million years ago. And finally, Homo sapiens 250,000 years ago, and Neanderthal man's around 70,000 years ago. And finally, around 35,000 years ago, it looks like Homo sapiens, okay? Homo sapiens, finally, it looks like the resemble to the modern race, modern human being. So maybe, yeah, when you are in the elementary or middle or high school, maybe you may learn about this some kind of evolution of a human being. So if evolution theory is correct, and from exactly when we can mention about civilization, it is extremely hard concept. But usually, when you look at this is Neanderthals around 70,000 years ago. Yeah, does he looks like a human being? Yeah, yeah, he has two eyes, nose, mouth, two ears, but little bit long hair. And usually they are living in the cave, and they sometimes draw some picture and make the fire. So when you look at this picture, can you call it civilization? I don't know. Still, yeah, the definition of civilization is a little bit hard to catch it. But from actually common sense, it is extremely hard to call this moment as a civilization. But as soon as you look at this another picture like this one, is it also is it this actually can call be a civilization? Of course, of course. It looks like a Greek and Roman civilization. So, what is actually the definition of the civilization? Actually, the rise of the civilization usually, okay, when you read this presentation, the word civilization actually come from the Latin word for townsman or citizen. That means at least minimum the definition, narrow definition of civilization is that we should find a town or a city, okay? Town or a city, people getting together, living together, they establish the building, and finally they make a small town or a big city. So that actually original definition of civilization. So in the big city, usually that city was governed by the constitution, maybe government or legal status of that community. Sometimes kings or sometimes some specific nobles like that. Some one actually person or one institution try to control the whole city. That called the civilization. So that's why highly organized society marked by advanced knowledge of trade. So human being is very different from other animals. Human being actually we made a alphabet, okay, language, and we teach our children with our one language. So language is extremely important concept for the actually civilization. So knowledge of trade, that means teaching, okay? We gonna teach our kids how with our language, even with written language. And also there should be some kinds of government shape, and maybe art and science is etc. But written language is definitely important concept to setting up the definition of the civilization. And usually a long time ago, around maybe 5,000 years ago or 6,000 years ago, usually according to the historian, there are four major ancient civilization. Number one is Mesopotamia. Maybe today we're gonna deal with that. Another one is Egypt civilization. We also deal with that today. But other one is Indus civilization in India. And also another one is Chinese civilization in China. But this class only deal with Western civilization. So that's why today I only deal with the Mesopotamian civilization and the Egyptian civilization. So usually Asian Near East people actually built the city. That's why the definition civilization coming from the townsman, town, citizen. So there must be town or cities. That's why cities created a lighting system, learn to make a pottery. Yeah, we make a bowl, okay, to conserve our food and use the metal. So that's why they made a sword with the steel, and also domesticated animals. So we raised the cow, pigs, chickens, other animals, okay? Because people getting together, they need a lot of food, so they are focusing usually on the farming, but also they raise a lot of animals in order to eat. So they're called actually domesticated animals, and also created a complex social structure with a crisis system. It is very interesting that even from the Asian civilization, there is some hierarchy. There is ruling class and also normal people. So already from a long time ago, whenever the people getting together, there is some class. So some powerful actually figures, they control the nation, control the city, control the town. So when we actually deal with the civilization, definitely there is some kinds of a political system. And usually Mesopotamian civilization, that is BC 3000. That means from now around 5,000 years ago. When we watch the first actually scene of this presentation, you may remember around 5 million years ago already there is some kinds of human beings race, but it developed, it evolves, and from when exactly when you called the civilization, even though human being existed 5 million years ago, according to the evolution theory. But it is usually said that civilization exists around 5,000 years ago. So usually Mesopotamian civilization is the first actually civilization throughout the human history. So that is the oldest known civilization, Mesopotamian civilization 5,000 years ago. Also, they have religion. Actually, every actually civilization has their one specific religion. So religion is the basis of Mesopotamian civilization. Also, writing, as I said, they need writing. That's why they can teach. They can establish the school and they gather children and they try to teach them. And also mathematics. Look at that building. Sometimes, yeah, even we make a small house, we need some technology, okay? Architecture. We must have some kind of a specific knowledge. So usually that kind of a thing based on science or mathematics. And also astronomy. Long time ago, many people watched the sky and they saw the moving of the stars and they predicted the future. That's why. Also medicine. Yeah, many people getting together, so there are so many diseases. So they try to find how to cure those kinds of disease. That's why. And usually, one of the also very interesting thing in civilization is water is extremely important. So, four major ancient civilization is located exactly big river because they need a lot of water because they building the city and so many people live there together. So their first actually priority to survive is water. That's why. So Mesopotamian civilization is located Tigris and Euphrates River in Iraq. So you may look at the map. The Euphrates River located in Iraq in modern day. So you may see the Iraq, Syria, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, okay, in that area. Mesopotamian civilization was born in that area. So even, yeah, Egyptian Nile River. So also the other two civilization is also located big river. So one of the characteristics of civilization is written language, and it looks like the second great actually common character in civilization is water. So usually they center to getting together near to the river. And I don't want to explain about with detail because even Mesopotamian civilization it takes around 1,500 years. So I don't want to explain the whole 1,500 years history. Only you may look at the summary of the Mesopotamian civilization. Around BC 3000, 2000, Sumerian civilization. Maybe you may heard of Sumerian, okay? At the time they used the cuneiform. Maybe you can see the picture. This is cuneiform, old written language. So in order to actually save their knowledge, specific knowledge, at the time unfortunately there was no paper. So they recorded it in the stone. So they record what happened, actually what is really important to them. They actually carve the stone and they make a record. So that called cuneiforms. And during Sumerian civilization, one of a great king called King Sargon of Akkad. So even in civilization, there is some political system. There was a great king, and that's why he is so powerful. That's why he conquered that area, and he can establish the big city. Also, BC 2000 through 1600, old Babylonian civilization. Maybe you may heard of Hammurabi. His law especially was so great and influence on the establishment of the Old Testament and even Western law actually is based on Hammurabi actually law. So relating to the Old Testament, Christianity, Abraham actually lived in old Babylonian civilization. He lived in Mesopotamia area. Uru is exactly located in Mesopotamia. So originally Abraham he was a person of a Babylonian or Mesopotamian person. Okay, he moved to the Jerusalem later. That's why. And also BC 1600 through 1200 disorder in Mesopotamia. Strong king died, and after that nation was divided by several areas. And also BC 1200 through 265 Middle and New Assyrian Empire. Assyrians actually later they invade Israel and they destroy it. And from that time, northern part of Israel was disappeared. So Assyrian is related to also Old Testament. And BC 265 through 539, New Babylonian Empire. During that time also Nebuchadnezzar, it is extremely hard to pronounce, okay? He actually also invaded Judah in Israel, destroyed whole city, and he captured a lot of people, bring them to their nation. They called Babylonian captivity. So this actually Mesopotamian civilization is the history of the Babylonian. Mesopotamian civilization is deeply related to Old Testament. So when we know exactly those kinds of history, we may actually getting better understanding when we read the Bible, and even we reading the human history. And just to look at the map, this is Mesopotamian, new actually Babylonian Empire, actually coloring area, actually Babylon. That area is actually Iran and Iraq, and they finally coming to the Samaria, Jerusalem area. They conquered that area. Babylonian destroyed Israel from this earth. From that moment, even BC around 600 years ago, 600, during that time, the nation called Israel was disappeared from this earth because of this new Babylonian Empire. So when I'm actually Christian, and I'm actually studying about the theology, also the church history. So this is also, even though I'm teaching about the Western civilization, that is deeply related to the Bible story. That's why. So you may see that Jerusalem that was conquered by Babylonian Empire during that time. And before finishing the Mesopotamian civilization, I must mention Hammurabi, the King Hammurabi. And even there is some record about him, and many people actually carved him in statue. And he was a powerful ruler. And during that time, he has government, even in modern dynasty concept. And he made a law, as I said. That law is called Code of Hammurabi, around 282 laws. Also, he actually bring the economic, even trade with other country, and agriculture, and some kinds of trade to other country. So one of his famous actually Hammurabi law is the retaliation. Retaliation is revenge. Somebody harm me, I can revenge him or her. So even in the Bible, there is this kind of law. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So somebody hurting my eyes, I can take it out somebody's eyes. And if somebody hurting my tooth, I can also remove his tooth. That's actually Hammurabi law, and that Hammurabi law actually has great influence on maybe 10 Commandments and also the law in Old Testament. So this law still actually effective in modern day. So Hammurabi law is fundamental to the code, even law code in modern day. So even this kind of civilization was born around 4,000 years ago, but still effective in modern day. And at that time, actually, patriarchal society, that means there is kings and or noble class, they dominated that country, and there are so many slaves. So dominated by one man or several men, and woman's duty was in home. So women cannot actually become a politician. So yeah, even until around the 20th century, unfortunately, human duty was located in. They raise the children and they taking care of the family. That's all. Unfortunately, a long time ago, almost 5,000, 6,000 years, actually, women's role was limited in the family. Unfortunately, but throughout the early of 20th century, finally feminist movement arose, and finally women has the same right with the men. So, but unfortunately, a long time ago, from that time, woman's duty was in home, and the children must be obedient to their parents. And yeah, even though there are so many facts, so many explanation about the Mesopotamian civilization, but I will summarize right in short, and I'm going to Egyptian civilization. Yeah, whenever we heard of the Egypt, you maybe remind the pyramid and Sphinx. It was built long time ago, but still it exists, and so many tourists go to Egypt in order to watch pyramid and Sphinx, because even in modern day, it is extremely hard to build those kinds of big architecture. But isn't it amazing? This kind of thing already was established 5 or 6,000 years ago. So yeah, Egyptian civilization was born in Nile Valley of Egypt. As I said, every major ancient civilization was born in near to the river. So Nile River. So the little green part is Nile River. During that actually area, agriculture was main. So they can raise a lot of wheat, maybe a lot of food. So that's why they can establish big city. So if you can any chance to visit Egypt, maybe you may see the pyramid and Sphinx. With also, you may heard of the Pharaoh. Okay, Pharaoh. Even this name is written in Old Testament. There was a divine kingship. Okay, Pharaoh. They actually pyramid is the tomb of King Pharaoh. Okay, they have a king system and he's ruling. So their religion is also extremely important during that time. And the Pharaoh was the center. He is the not only the king but also a priest. So he dominated the whole Egypt, actually city, Egypt nation. Even 5 or 6,000 years ago, already they established their one kingdom. So that's why Egypt actually is considered one of the developed civilization during that time. And Pharaoh looks like this. Look at this picture. Yeah, the scientists actually getting some skull of a Pharaoh, and they make an image about him. So Pharaoh looks like exactly like this one. Egyptian was led by the Pharaoh. He was priest and king, and especially King Tut is the most famous. So during that time, how can they establish such a big building only with the human labor? No. They must develop science, architecture, and mathematics. That's why Egypt also is the resource of the civilization. And even also they invented their one alphabet. Actually, it doesn't look like an alphabet, okay? They drawing the picture. So around BC 3000, Old Kingdom, hieroglyphics, that means instead of alphabet, actually they invented some kinds of drawing. So one example is maybe a bird looks like A, and your foot it means B, another bird W or O, like that. They drawing these kinds of hieroglyphics, but that has real meanings, and they record their history, their system, their knowledge in hieroglyphics. So that's why they can teach their children with this alphabet, written language, and they developing their science and mathematics. And one of the famous actually king throughout the Egyptian civilization, Ramses. So long time ago, they actually building these kinds of big statues. They are Ramses II, Ramses III, long time ago. So I don't want to explain also the detailed history of Egyptian civilization. Just make a short one, okay? BC 2200, first intermediate period, BC 2000, Middle Kingdom, BC 1800, second intermediate period, BC around 1500, New Kingdom, and there are many actually pharaohs, they are kings, and the later actually you may see the Ramses. Ramses is one of the extremely important actually king during that time. He has superpower and he invade other country, and he established a big actually Egyptian kingdom. And we can imagine that we wonder, even long time ago, Egyptian has extremely developed civilization, and they already created a huge civilization during that time. And also they have some kinds of political system, social hierarchy. So power is the head, and vizier, they are maybe novel, some kinds of ruling class, and the higher priest, royal overseas, district or governors, scribe, they are writing, okay? They are historians. And artisan, they made pyramid architecture, and there are farmers and laborers. So those kinds of social hierarchical system already exist. If later we're gonna see the some European history, European civilization, it was extremely late, even comparing to Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilization. At the time, Europe was very, very late. They are out of time, okay? They are extremely late to developing civilization. But one of my actually question is that even Mesopotamia located in East Asia, maybe Iran and Iraq, and also the Egyptian civilization in Egypt, they long time ago they developed civilization, but why they declined? That is actually my last question when I finishing my lecture. So usually I will not actually explain detail, but throughout this class we're gonna see the short Western civilization. And see you next time. Thank you listening to my lecture. See you next time. Thank you.